Greetings, everybody. It's me, your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and this is my series Nails in a Coffin, where we learn that with great kills, there must also come great nails. If you're new here, firstly, welcome to my channel, and what I do is I take the on-screen kills in horror movies, and I rate the victims' decisions. So if they do something stupid, like run upstairs instead of running outside, I give them 1 nail in a coffin, and my scale goes up to 4 nails in a coffin. So the harder the victim fights to not get killed, they're going to get more nails in a coffin. It's a lot of fun. So I hope to entertain you during this video, and if I do, I hope you'll be so kind to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well, and leave a comment down below. It'll go a long way to keep me motivated to put out this consistent content. Every Friday since I started this channel a year ago, I've released at least 1 Nails in a Coffin video, and Wednesdays I release my horror movie superlatives videos as well. Those are a ton of fun. I hope you check them out. And also, I'm not real savvy on social media and stuff, so if you would be so kind as also to share this video around, so help me grow this channel, that would be amazing. When this video goes up, we have just 24 days left until Halloween, and of course we're all happy about that. So before I get started, here's a summary of the average nails in a coffin for all the Halloween movies I've covered so far. Starting a new timeline this week, Rob Zombie's Halloween. It's fair to say this is a very divisive film. Love it or hate it, this movie gives us something completely different than what we're used to with Michael Myers. We actually get a backstory for him, seeing him as a child, and we witness some of the reasons why he became such a ruthless killer. Now, there are a lot of kills in this movie, the highest body count yet, so no time to waste, so let's put some nails in a coffin with Rob Zombie's Halloween. Michael's first kill is bully Wesley. Wesley was picking on Michael in the school's bathroom, and this resulted in a fight. Michael's mom got called up to the school where she met Dr. Loomis. Later on, Wesley was walking home from school when Michael jumps out of nowhere from behind a tree and hits Wesley in the legs with the tree branch. Michael then beats him to death mercilessly. Wesley's begging for his life. This is a hell of a first kill for the movie, but Michael has no mercy for Wesley, and he just beats his kid to death with a tree branch. So, Michael's first kill will earn Wesley 1 nail in the coffin. Michael jumped out from behind a tree, hit Wesley in the leg, so he couldn't get back up. Wesley was pleading for his life, and Michael was just standing over him, beating him to death. Wesley was an over-the-top bully. When you keep pushing somebody and pushing something, eventually they're going to retaliate, and his actions directly resulted in him getting brutally murdered. So, in this case, Wesley, to start this movie off, you're going to get 1 nail in the coffin. Later at night, Michael's mom is working. She's a stripper. His stepdad, Ronnie, passes out drunk on his chair, and Michael really, really hates his Ronnie. So he tapes him up with duct tape, and he's pretty much bound to the chair right now. When Ronnie is sleeping, Michael takes a knife standing over him and slashes him across the throat, and Ronnie wakes up just to bleed out and die. And this was probably the most satisfying death in the movie, and I'm going to give Ronnie 1 nail in the coffin. He passed out drunk, so drunk that he was able to be taped up, and he woke up right after having his throat slashed. Like Wesley, Ronnie took no responsibilities for the environment he created. You can't, be so angry and so vicious towards everybody and not expect anyone to ever retaliate. So he just took no responsibilities for any of his actions, just like Wesley did. So, in this case, Ronnie, you're disgusting, and you definitely are going to deserve that 1 nail in the coffin. Judith was upstairs making friends with her boyfriend, Steve. After the deed, he goes down into the kitchen for a snack, and while he's making a sandwich, Michael stands behind him holding his aluminum bat over his head. Well, he smashes Steve on the head with this baseball bat, and this is a violent death. You see Steve's body, he's twitching and everything on the floor, and Michael continues to just beat him to death with this baseball bat. And it's another vicious, vicious kill in this movie. I'm going to give Steve 2 nails in a coffin. He was just sitting at the kitchen table after making a sandwich, after happy time with Judith. And Steve wasn't even that mad. He wasn't a jerk to Mikey. He was just a normal kid. He wasn't really mean to him. And nothing he did really stood out to me as being ignorant or stupid that would lead to his death. He was just making a sandwich in the kitchen in his girlfriend's house. So he didn't see it coming. There wasn't much he could have done, so not giving any chance of survival with this guy. So I'm going to go down the middle and give him 2 nails in the coffin. After Michael kills Steve, he goes upstairs to see his sister Judith, who's lying in bed with headphones on. He picks up the Shatner mask, which was on the floor. Steve had brought it in the house. He puts it on, and then he walks over to the bed and touches her leg. She thinks it's Steve, but when she sees it's Michael, she kind of gets mad, and she yells at him, but he won't answer any of her questions. So she keeps smacking him a few times, till Michael takes a knife, stabs her in the gut with it. We then see her crawling down the hallway. She's screaming in pain and fear, and Michael is just slowly stalking her till she's down on the ground, and Michael finishes it off by stabbing her to death with the knife. Judith, I'm going to give her 2 nails in a coffin. She was a mean older sister, and she did kind of bully him as well. Now, considering their home environment, I'm not surprised the way everybody acted and treated in the Myers house. She was stabbed in the stomach without any warning, and she tried to get away. After being stabbed, she was dragging herself across the floor as she was bleeding to death. So at least she tried to get the help. She tried to survive. And I'm going to go down the middle here and give Judith 2 nails in the coffin. Michael's final kill as a child is Nurse Wynn. Last name taken from Dr. Wynn from Halloween, Curse of Michael Myers. Nurse Wynn works at Smith Grove's Sanitarium, where Michael has been staying since the murders took place. She's alone with Michael in the cafeteria, and she looks at a picture of Angel Myers, Michael's younger sister, and she just comments it's a cute baby. She puts the picture down and turns around to read her paper. Well, she sits with the back turned towards Michael, and then he takes a metal fork and stabs her to death in the neck. Nurse Wynn, I'm going to give her 1 nail in the coffin. You know, she works in a sanitarium that houses violent individuals, most likely who have committed, violent acts of murder. People who are not mentally stable. Why would you put your back towards someone who brutally murdered 3 people, especially when you have sharp instruments around? There never should have been a metal fork anywhere near one of the patients, and she just kind of nonchalantly turned her back towards Michael, knowing that this is a dangerous kid who brutally murdered 3 people. So she had no sense of danger around her. She was very complacent. So I'm going to give Nurse Wynn, Michael's final kill as a child, 1 nail in the coffin. After Michael kills the nurse, Deborah just completely lost it. She knows how far gone her son has become. She goes home later at night and ends her life, and I choose not to rate deaths like this one. The next 4 kills all happen at the same time when Michael kills 4 guards that were escorting him during a transfer from Smith Grove's Sanitarium. Oh, not again. Anyways, I don't even know what that is right there. He breaks through his restraints. He kills 1 guard with the chain, bashes 1 guard's head into a wall. One of the guards shoots another guard with the shotgun when they were trying to shoot Michael, but then he rips her throat out. So, for the sake of saving time here, since there are so many kills in this movie, I'm going to rate all these guards all at the same time because I'm pretty much going to give them all 1 nail in the coffin. Just watch this scene and you can see the incompetence and complacency with these guards. The way Michael was chained up was stupid. Why would he have his hands loose in front of him and then long chains like that? It's just a dangerous situation. These guards were armed and one couldn't even get his gun out. They didn't know how to use a shotgun. It was just filled with so much stupid. Right now, watch a scene and there's no way I would give any of these guards more than 1 nail in the coffin. The only thing that sucks about it is some of these guards, you had some really, really talented actors, but they were all stupid. Michael killed all 4 of them really easily, and all 4 of them are going to get 1 nail in the coffin. One of the sanitarium attendants, Ismail, was next. He is played by the legendary Danny Trejo. He had a special bond with Michael, knowing him for all the 15 years of his stay at Smith's Grove. Ismail arrives at work and he finds that Michael has killed at least 4 guards and that he's out of his room. He finds Michael and he's talking to him, trying to calm him down, use that bond that they have together. Ismail tries to put handcuffs on Michael. Michael holds his hands out, but before he can get the handcuffs on, he grabs Ismail, throws him around. And this is kind of a sad death since you hear Ismail say, "Hey, I was good to you, Mikey, I was good to you." He's getting beat up, his head is dunked in and out of a sink filled with water, and it's starting to turn more and more red with his blood. Michael then tosses Ismail down to the ground, takes a TV off of his mount, holds it up over his head, and smashes it down onto Ismail's head, killing him. This was a sad death since Ismail was always nice to Michael, but he's going to earn himself 2 nails in the coffin. I actually wanted Michael to spare Ismail's life, but they really wouldn't fit with, Michael Myers. I like how Ismail tried to calm Michael down to get him back into his room, and he probably thought Michael would listen to him, but unfortunately, he was wrong, and Michael brutally killed him, and I didn't see anything that Ismail did that was stupid, but so he's going to sit with a high 2 nails in the coffin. After Michael's escape from Smith's Girls, he finds his way to a truck stop. Joe is in the bathroom stall reading a porno mag, which is kind of gross to read a porno mag on a public toilet. Is that the place where you really want to... Yeah, never mind. Michael is standing in front of the stall door knocking on it, and Joe is not a fan. He opens the door and introduces himself to Michael.
I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch.
They get in a violent fight, and they're breaking the metal stall partitions, and this is actually... I like the way this scene was actually shot, because the camera shakes as they're bashing about. It's a pretty decent fight. But Michael was able to defeat Joe, and he stabs him to death in the gut a few times, taking his boots and coveralls.
Joe Grizzly.
He's going to get 3 nails in a coffin. He saw some weirdo standing in front of his stall, and they got into a violent fight. Joe didn't back down or freeze in fear. I mean, come on, it's Ken Foray. What do you expect? He fought hard until he died, and for those reasons, I'm going to give Joe Grizzly 3 nails in the coffin. Now we're at the point of the movie where it's a very close adaptation of the original Halloween. Michael's first kill as an adult with his classic mask on is Bob Sims. He and Linda were in Judith's bedroom in the old Myers house for some happy time. During their lovemaking, Bob gets a cramp in his leg and has to stop. Annoyed, Linda sends him downstairs for a beer. When he's downstairs, he dons a sheet and his glasses to scare Linda. And he's walking back to the bedroom when Michael grabs him, throws him against the wall, bashing him around. He places his hand around Bob's throat, lifts him off the ground. Michael then takes a knife, stabs it into Bob, pinning him to the wall. Bob, you're going to get 2 nails in a coffin. And just because he and Linda wanted to have sex in an abandoned house, I can't necessarily say that was stupid where you think your life's going to be in danger. Weird, but not necessarily stupid. Michael surprised him. He was able to overpower him. Bob was no match for Michael. He was struggling and trying to break free. It just didn't work. So this poor kid didn't have much of a chance. So he's going to get 2 nails in a coffin. After Michael kills Bob, he puts on the sheet and glasses and goes into Judith's room where she is still laying on the ground. She thinks it's Bob under the sheet, and she wants her beer, but Michael is not answering her, so she gets annoyed, gets up, and grabs a beer. She snatches it out of Michael's hand and turns around to drink it. Well, Michael removes the sheet and glasses, grabs Linda from around the throat, and strangles her to death. Linda, I'm going to give her 2 nails in the coffin. She had no idea she would be in any danger other being in this abandoned house. And no one knows that Michael is at large killing people. She thought it was Bob under the sheets, so she didn't think she was in any danger. She grabbed the beer, and before she can really get a drink from it, she had a hand from this giant man around her throat, strangling her to death. Not much of a chance for survival here, so just like her fun buddy, Linda is going to get 2 nails in a coffin. After Linda was killed, we see Lori sitting on her stoop talking to her parents. Annie picks up Lori, and Lori's mom goes back into the house. Lori's dad is about to walk into the house, but then Michael appears from out of nowhere, stabs him in the head, I think, and then drags his body inside. He drops the body right in front of Lori's mom, who pretty much panics at the sight of this. She tries to get away from Michael, but it doesn't work. She's crawling to trying to get to a phone, call for help. Michael is pretty much just toying with her at this point. Michael is then holding Lori's mom, and he holds up a picture of Lori to her. And this is a pretty much vicious thing to do before killing her mom. What's going to go through her head right before, she knows she's about to die. He throws her down on the coffee table, picks her back up again, and just snaps her neck, killing her. Lori's dad and mom are both going to get 2 nails in a coffin. Firstly, her dad was just standing on the porch when Michael appeared from out of nowhere, and he was stabbed in the head. Not much of a chance with this kill. Yeah, you can argue he couldn't see where Michael was. or whatnot, but then again, that wouldn't really lead me to give him 1 nail in the coffin. Anyways, he wasn't given much of a chance, so Laurie's dad is going to get 2 nails in the coffin. Laurie's mom, played by the beautiful and wonderful Dee Wallace, she's also going to get 2 nails in the coffin. You know, she saw Michael, she saw her husband just recently getting killed. He viciously tortured her pretty much before he killed her. She tried to get away, she tried to fight, but she was no match for him. And I didn't see any poor decisions made by either of these two that would lead me to give them a lower nail rating. And just not quite enough for 3 nails in a coffin for the wonderful Dee Wallace. So both Laurie's parents are going to sit with a comfortable 2 nails in a coffin. Annie and Paul are making out on the couch, and they're about to have sex, and they are undressing each other. They are completely distracted, and they don't even sense Michael walking into the room. During the deed, Michael grabs Paul from the back of the neck, lifts him up, and immediately takes his large knife, stabs Paul in the chest, killing him while Annie is freaking out. Paul, who was about to get lucky, was very unlucky, and the least I can do is give him 2 nails in a coffin. This seems to be the trend with this Michael Myers, similar to Jason Voorhees kills. A lot of surprise kills from behind, not giving the victim much of a chance. You know, kills out of nowhere. And, you know, watching this kill, there wasn't much Paul could have done. He was laying on top of Annie, about to have sex, and he got picked up by this giant man and had a giant knife stabbed into his chest. Wasn't much he can do, so Paul, you're going to get 2 nails in a coffin. We're at the final deaths in Rob Zombie's remake. Michael is pursuing Laurie, and she makes it to the Doyle house where Tommy lets her in. Michael smashes his way into the house, and Laurie and the kids run upstairs and lock themselves in the bathroom. While this is happening, officers Larry and Charles arrive to the Doyle house, and they run inside. They're standing, the kids are in the bathroom. Officer Larry is standing by the door, trying to say, hey, let me in, it's okay out here, it's okay. Well, as Laurie's about to unlock the door, Michael kills Officer Laurie as he's standing there by stabbing him in the back. Officer Charles then arrives upstairs, sees this, and shoots Michael 1 time before Michael runs at him, stabs him in the chest 3 times, killing him. I'm going to award both of these officers 1 nail in the coffin. The first officer had his back wide open when he knew there was a dangerous person nearby. Laurie even said, he's out there. Officer Larry didn't even look when he said, there's no one out here. Didn't even look around before he said that. So 1 nail in the coffin for being so stupid in that case. Officer Charles gets upstairs, sees his partner being killed, and he only puts 1 round into Michael and stands there after he shoots him to see if it worked, giving Michael enough time to run at him and stab him to death. He forgot he had the gun in his hand after he used it 1 time. So, yeah, these types of decisions, especially made by police and security guards, will always lead me to give them 1 nail in the coffin. This long movie wraps up with Laurie trying to hide from Michael in the Myers house. She's in a crawl space in the ceiling, and eventually she breaks through because the wood is all rotted and she crashes to the floor below. Michael walks into the room that she fell into. She's holding a revolver. He sees her. He runs at her, tackles her. They break through a glass door and fall over a balcony and crash to the ground below. Laurie comes to, and she's laying on top of Michael. She's got a revolver in her hand. She pulls the trigger a few times, but those chambers are empty. Michael then grabs her hand as she pulls the trigger 1 final time. The gun goes off. She shoots Michael, and then we see Laurie screaming uncontrollably as the movie ends. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Those are all my Nails in a Coffin ratings for Rob Zombie's Halloween. Here's a summary of all the nails I've awarded. Here's a look at the average Nails in a Coffin for the first 9 movies in the Halloween franchise. Thanks again for checking out my video. I really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, I hope you consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any of my content. It's a great way to thank me. It's going to go a long way to keep me motivated. I really do appreciate it. I will see all of you here next week for a brand new Nails in a Coffin video when I cover Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Another very, very divisive movie in the entire Halloween franchise. And we're going to talk about that movie next week. Take care, everybody. Take care of yourselves, each other. Stay safe. Stay happy. I am your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete. And remember, with great kills, there must also come great nails.